Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport and the final day of Le Mans Week 2020. The race is happening right now as I record, so you still have time to go and check out the other Le Mans themed videos I have been uploading every day of this past week. For today's offering, let's take a look at my 10 favourite cars to ever race at Le Mans. I'm sure we all have our favourites, so leave yours in the comments below. And with that, sit back, relax, and let's begin.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
Number 10, the 2002 Morgan Aero 8. Little Morgan with their little wooden cars. They already look like they're from the 1950s, but when they showed up at Le Mans with a DeWalt sponsored Aero 8, it certainly drew some looks. Morgan do have success with Le Mans with a GT 2.0 class win in a Morgan Plus 4 Supersports, driven by Chris Lawrence and Richard Shepard Barron, in 1962. A success that was honoured by Oak Racing in 2012 when they entered their LMP2 cars as Morgans to celebrate the 50th anniversary of their 1962 success. But the one that sticks in my mind is the 2002 DeWalt offering. It only completed 182 laps and wasn't very competitive, but it looked good and deserved to be on the grid. Number 9, the 1996 Lister Storm. I love a Lister Storm. It's one of the best names of anything in the history of ever. On their own, Lister sound like quite a dull Middle England car manufacturer. Stick Storm on the end and I'm thinking Thor's hammer with 4 wheels. The 1996 Le Mans offering is my favourite just because of the ludicrous Newcastle United sponsorship. As far as motorsport football tie-ins go, it's an audacious one. Newcastle United, along with sponsors Dunlop and Adidas, brought a Lister Storm, painted it in their football colours and stuck it on the grid. Driven by Anthony Reid, Tiffany Dale and Jeff Lees to a 19th overall and 11th in class. It didn't do half bad. Number 8, the 1955-1957 Jaguar D-Type. This car was designed from the ground up to be a Le Mans winner. With its special aerodynamics, it was unstoppable and took 3 wins in a row between 1955 and 57, and is an absolute looker to boot. The 1957 win was special, with the top 4 filled by Jaguar D-Types and 5 in the top 6, giving the likes of Mike Hawthorne, Ron Flockhart, Ivor Bube and Ninian Sanderson Le Mans wins. This is one of the most legendary Le Mans cars of all time. Number 7, the 1966 Ford GT40. Well, it's an obvious one, but the story has gone down in history. It's a pivotal moment not just in sports car racing, but in motorsport as a whole. And it's the biggest case of na in history. Everyone knows the story. Ferrari were on hard times. Ford tried to buy Ferrari. Ferrari pulled out rather rudely at the last minute. Ford commissioned a sports car to be built to beat the dominant Ferrari at Le Mans, which they did in 1966, before taking the win for the next 3 years. Everyone loves the GT40. Number 6, the 1965 Ferrari 250 LM. The last Ferrari to win at Le Mans, taking the victory in 1965, a year before the GT40 chased Ferrari out of Le Mans forever. This was Ferrari's 6th win in a row at Le Mans, although this one wasn't by the factory team. North American Racing took the win, with Maston Gregory, Jochen Rindt and allegedly Ed Hughes, who is not officially recognised, but apparently was told by a very tired Maston Gregory, "You're a reserve driver, you take over for a while." Whoever drove the car is one of the most incredible Ferraris to look at and one of the most expensive, with auctions topping $10 million. Number 5, the 1983 Rothmans Porsche 956. This car has impacted my life massively. When I first started smoking, I brought a pack of Rothmans because I knew this car, and so when I get lung cancer, I know who to blame. But you can't say tobacco advertising doesn't work. This was a great looking livery though, and the car was very successful, taking a 1-2-3 in 1982 with Derek Bell and Jackie Ickx taking the win, and this was followed by a 1-2 in 1983. Vern Chupin, Hurley Haywood and Al Holbert taking that win from Bell and Ickx. The Porsche 956 would also win in 1984, filling 1st to 7th, as well as 1985, with various customer cars. before the Rothmans Porsche returned and took another couple of wins in 1986 and 1987. Number 4, the 1989 Tom's Toyota. This was not a successful car, but it was a nice shade of yellow, and it has one of my favourite liveries. I also had a toy of this car, so once again I'll admit to being a bitch to nostalgia. Tom's entered 2 Toyotas in the 1989 Le Mans race. The first retired after 45 laps, before the other succumbed on lap 58, so definitely not a success. This car was an actual lemon. Number 3, the 1985 Lancia LC2. I seem to bring up Lancia at least once a week. I can't help it, their cars make me go weak at the knees. But allow me to stroke the engorged ego of Lancia's former glories yet once more. If Lancia are making a race car, you can almost guarantee that it's going to be a work of art. From Grand Prix to rally to sports cars, you could fill a top 10 list with just Lancias. The LC2 was not a success in terms of racing. Their best finish at Le Mans was a 6th and 7th in 1985. Although quick, it was often unreliable, and Lancia struggled against the dominant Porsche team. They finally beat Porsche in Spa in 1985, but the Lancia project was killed off a year later. Number 2, the 2003 Bentley Speed 8. Another personal reason for this being on the list, but this was the first Le Mans where I managed to watch all 24 hours, and a big reason for that was the Bentley team. Bentley were at the first Le Mans race in 1923, and 80 years later they managed to win against the Audi team and to usher in a new Bentley boys era that ended after this win. This was a 1-2 finish with Tom Christensen, Rinaldo Capello and Guy Smith beating their sister car by a couple of laps. This followed on from the last 2 years where they were beaten comprehensively by the Audi cars. I miss the racing green Bentleys. I wish they'd come back. Number 1, the 1988 Silk Cut Jaguar XJR12. The absolute Le Mans classic that everyone and their dog knows about, the Silk Cut Jaguar team run by Tom Walkinshaw Racing. They took 2 wins in 1988 and 1990, but it's the 1988 offering with the thicker yellow lines that's my favourite. With the win going to Jan Lammers, Johnny Dumfries and Andy Wallace, and even with a gearbox issue that saw Lammers driving around in 4th gear to stop the gearbox eating itself, they still managed to hold off the chasing Porsche for the win, ending Porsche's 7-year reign of dominance. So that is my list of my favourite cars to race in the Le Mans 24-hour race. Do you have any particular favourites? Leave your thoughts down in the comments below, and with that, Le Mans week comes to an end. Almost. Next week there will be a reaction video to my Le Mans 2020 predictions video, so it is well worth subscribing now to make sure you see that one. And also watch for 2 predictions videos linked below to get up to speed. I'm going to have a few days break now, but stay around for more Frontrunner Motorsport content. Over 200 videos on the channel now. I'm sure there's something to take your fancy. So thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed Le Mans, and have a good one.